Okay, we got our next guest, Jim, and I think you made the roster up. So why don't you tell me? Who do we got?
Yeah, our next guest is Brady Nasfell. Have you met Brady?
No, I haven't.
He's our director, producer for our documentary.
Oh, wow.
From LA.
Awesome.
So.
Great. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you, Don.
Hey, nice to meet you, Raphael. I'll see you in the ring, huh?
Go, Zach. Keep going, man. Push hard.
Wow. Hey, Brady.
Well, I don't know how you're going to top this, Jim. I mean, you've brought in the lineup of the day so far.
Oh, just
you're 2 for 2.
Just you wait, man.
Okay, I'm ready.
Raphael is one more story about Raphael is we were out doing the Joe Rogan show.
Yes.
We got an Airbnb, and I got up and got my coffee and looked out into the backyard, and here's this guy, Raphael, doing the most amazing stretches of his body. I mean, angled, all kinds of things. Just, it was beauty, just in motion.
Yeah, human poetry.
That's right. So I have a feeling that's what he does every day.
Well, his passion, we talked about in the front end, right? It's his passion. So it wasn't work for him. He was just living it. And that's awesome.
So let me introduce this cool guy right here.
All right, let's do it.
Brady Nasfell is one of my dearest friends, just because he's become a part of our family, Fight for the Forgotten family. Let him tell his story of how he got here, but he is by far, if you need just some words of encouragement or peace or just some love, man, call this guy. I'll give you his cell number. And
Wait, get a different phone.
I know.
He's a great guy.
Well, I'm glad to be with you guys, by the way. Thank you for inviting me along on this journey to watch Zach do this great thing. I have to say, I went jogging this morning. I jog 3 times a week, you know, and I can keep up with Zach for about 3 miles.
Oh, well,
that's about
good.
it. I can do about a 7-minute mile when I'm just doing my jogging, right? But I think after that point, I would rapidly descend. So anyway, I'm inspired by what he's doing. So this is great.
We all are. And we're inspired by what you guys are doing. So let's hear your contribution to this organization.
Yeah. Thank you, Brady.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm based in LA and I'm lived out here for about 20 years and been involved with a lot of different parts of the industry, but I've always had a passion for really interesting stories where people are doing good things. And even when you're doing something completely different, you can find those kind of stories. And I was doing a show called UFC Ultimate Insider, which ran for about 5 years. And we would do these great, you know, feature stories on fighters, all the top fighters in the world. And one day this video clip came through. It was a Facebook clip that many people that know Justin have seen this clip. It's Justin surrounded by young kids grabbing his beard in Africa. And
you're playing with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And playful. Yeah. They weren't hurting him too bad. But anyway, so, you know, the task we had is to try to do a story on him, which meant flying a crew over to Africa. And this is like 2012. And I tried so hard to make it work because it was such a cool story and it just didn't happen. And so like flash forward to about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, almost now. And Justin came to mind through a series of circumstances. I reached out to him and we connected. And before I knew it, I was in Uganda with him last March, filming a documentary. It's cutting a lot of it out, but getting to the point, right? You know, the inspiration obviously is what kind of compassion he has in the midst of being this, you know, incredible athlete. He has this incredible heart to match it. And that's what the documentaries, you know, kind of capturing. And it's capturing a lot of his own personal pain because he had a really rough time growing up, being bullied. And a lot of people know that story. But from someone to go from that kind of challenging circumstance, someone you never think would succeed for a lot of reasons, not because they couldn't, because they weren't encouraged. He finally got around the right people in the right circumstances and was able to just accomplish such great things. So that's the story of the doc, is his struggle from being bullied to a rise, and then the challenges that come. I mean, once you succeed to some degree, this doesn't mean your challenges go away.
Hey, Don, I called Brady and I say, is this the end of the story? And documentaries, I mean, you never really can tell when the best time to end the story, because it just keeps going.
Right.
That's right. You're sometimes spending 10 years or even
Yeah.
more in some cases following people, and you finally weave a story together, and you kind of abandon the project in a certain way rather than finishing it. You have to say, okay, we have to stop and
So-
get it out there.
I've got a question, and it's really for either one of you to answer. Do you think that someone like Justin needed to live without pain so he could learn to help others with pain? Do you think that's a prerequisite, that it really is part of the recipe to becoming a healer and a helper, is to have gone through the chaos yourself?
Absolutely. I think Brady could answer that pretty well too.
Brady, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it changed him, dramatically. Not only the damaging part of it, but then when he was surrounded by encouraging people and put in a context where he could learn and grow and change, and become a champion. I mean, or at least a top contender, And I think that's dramatic, and it also speaks to how people respond to him, because they obviously know he's been in their shoes or worse, in some cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has a certain amount of experience that gives him authority to speak on it that I wouldn't. I did never experience those kinds of things.
How big of a man is Justin? When I see him with the pygmies there, he looks like he's 9 feet tall.
He's
and
6'3".
well, that's big enough.
And he
and-
actually fights heavyweight, and a lot of guys are a lot taller than that.
yeah.
But he always says he loves tall guys to fight.
The old saying, the bigger they are, right? So when you're that size, I wonder if that's helpful to be someone to reach out to people, or it's intimidating. I wonder if that was a hurdle for him, or it was helpful.
I could answer that. You meet him once,
You're right.
you're going to know that you're loved.
Hmm. Well,
that's absolutely true. I mean, and people say teddy bear is a kind of a personality, but it's true. You want to give the guy a hug, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't have any fear of it. He can crush you.
Do a hug first.
He will start it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Jim, do you have any other
Yeah, let's talk.
comments?
I want Brady to talk. Justin has had, if you read his book, obviously a dark time, and it was after his UFC entrance into that arena and fighting for the biggest crowds in the world, and then he became depressed, like he was as a 13-year-old, and he was addicted to some pain meds because of his shoulder. Took him into some dark times, and because of that, he was corralled or rescued by a guy out of Dallas, and said, "Why don't you come to this retreat thing? We're just going to get together." And Justin's going, "I don't want to go sing Kumbaya around a fire." But it was something that he felt like it was time to go. And that was the change. He felt like those guys around that fire and at that place loved the hell out of him. And that's what he said. That's how he says it in his story. And because of that, it just changed the direction of totally the direction of his life. He wanted to help people. He volunteered anywhere he could go. He wasn't working. He just couldn't figure out what to do. And then finally had just a dream about these little people. And it was such a cool dream that he was walking and cutting back ivy and forest areas and opening up into an open site and saw all these little people, and one was near death with a rib sticking out, and it was devastating. And he woke up crying about it. He finally told a friend about that dream. He goes, and the friend goes, "That's the Mbuti pygmies in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in the Ituri rainforest."
Wow.
And Justin says, "Where's that? Where's that? What's Congo?" Well, he goes, this is strange, but I have a chance. I had 2 guys back out. If you want to go, I'm going in 3 weeks. Come with me.
The chances of him having that dream, talking to that person, I don't think, Brady, if you tell this story, we're gonna think it is truly Hollywood. Because
So,
No doubt. And I mean, you read the book and you get the details of this story, and it's really incredible. And then you see that he goes back after the first trip, he goes back and spends a whole year living with the pygmies.
a whole year.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I've been on other trips like that, you know, and people go and they visit, they drop in, they say a few words and shake hands, take a couple pictures, and then they leave. Justin went in and he lived in their huts. He ate their food and he caught malaria multiple times and all this stuff. And
3 times.
yeah. And I mean, you know, it's one thing to read in a book, and then you know, we were with him in Uganda, and we had to really, really hold him back because remember the time that he wanted to go stay with the pygmies, and he was going to sleep with the group of them that were just in this big room together. And part of that is getting to really know them and to be with the people. Right. But we really encouraged him not to do it that time, just because there was some sickness going around, and we could barely convince him not to do it. So I say that because that's the kind of heart he has, just to dive in and do it, and really get down and in the dirt to do whatever needs to be done.
Why don't you tell, I don't know if Zach can listen in, but why don't you tell the running story? But does it look like we're going to come in with another?
That's right. She knows exactly when to come in now. She
That's
used
right.
to just blast in. Now she looks for her opportunity.
There's your link again.
Yeah, let's do it, Kristen. Let's give some stuff away and look for my name in there.
Well, first we're gonna have you take a snap of that QR, because that's that's a little bit more important. So snap that QR, get those donations in. I do believe they have the link up on the YouTube now, so you can donate there as well. This $10,000 could be huge for the donation, so if we can get that matched, that would be awesome. Congrats to our winner this hour that is getting a $100 online voucher for Altra. Reach out to us on social media and we will get that for you. And then again, don't forget about that treadmill challenge. Get your entries in for that, because who doesn't want to win a free treadmill? I mean, I know I would like a free treadmill. And it's the top of the line one, the X32i incline trainer. So I believe it's the same one that Zach has, but I'm not 100% certain. So don't quote me on that.
Hey, Kristen, I have a question for you.
Yes.
We're keeping track of Zach. We've got his pace, his mileage. Yeah. We can compare it to his track record against Dave Proctor's existing record. We see his fat burning. We see his calories burning. We know everything, but you know what we don't know?
What?
How are we doing on this pledge, this charity drive? We're trying to get to 10,000. Are we close? Should we mortgage a home and convince somebody to pitch in a big donation, or what?
Well, I mean, anytime we can get someone to pitch in a big donation is going to be helpful, even if it does push us over that limit. I
Okay.
don't have an exact number yet, but I can bring back for you that next time.
I challenge you to do that.
Okay, but either way, we should continue.
We have that total. We'll send.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you guys have the numbers.
We have $877. It's been.
Oh, we can do a lot better than that. And I imagine during this segment, we could probably double that if we put some effort. I mean, look what these guys are doing. I'm starting to sound like Jerry Lewis at the telethon, but look, these guys are pouring their hearts into it, and they're making a difference. And, it's their passion. And if you identify with what these people are doing, you understand it because you have a passion too. So we like to help you out and try to get that doubled during this segment.
Yeah, thanks, Don. You keep pushing that. You push it and I push it, and maybe we'll get some extra people in there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. We do have two athletes on now to spotlight. We have Adam. He is actually out doing 100 miles. We're going to chat with him for just a minute. And look how nice and sunny and warm it looks there.
Oh,
Hey, Adam, you're looking good.
Yeah, I'm on about mile 42. Hey guys, how you doing? It's really, really hot. It might be 90 something degrees here, and it sprinkles every now and then just to make sure it's sauna conditions for me. So I'm getting tore up, but heavy on the electrolytes. We should be okay.
How'd you pick your course? Is it local in town that you're running, or what are you doing?
I'm like you. I'm a trail runner. I like these go in the middle of nowhere kind of satellite, really far, crazy trail runs. Today, I was planning something like that too. I got some new trail shoes, and my aid station captain that's here with me kind of wanted me to stay home. So for the first time, I'm challenging concrete sidewalks. I've never done that before. So I'm just going around my house. It's about 200 loops a block. 0.5 miles every loop. And I thought it would be pretty easy having the aid station right here, but it's actually really hard to see the comfort of home every 4 minutes, every 5 minutes. I promised myself a shower at mile 50, but we'll see. I might, right now I'm sitting in a chair, so beware the chair.
Well, what does your aid station look like?
It's pretty simple here. Let me see. I don't know if I can flip it around, but just kind of a table cooler aid station captain.
That's your captain, right?
She's got the hypervolt there. There we go. So that's very important. Yeah, I'm doing Ultra sign up. It's Run Like a Ninja. It's a local thing. So I just wanted to bring up, when the races get canceled, it's really sad for us. But we can keep running, right? We can just go outside and run anytime we want to. So to do the virtual runs, I think it's important to try to support your local race directors if they're putting on a virtual to go that route. So that's what I chose to do. I've been doing as many of those as I can, local race directors.
That's a good idea because we want races to exist when we come back. Otherwise, we won't have anything to run. So we need to invest in our race directors and in our sport, in our passion.
Yep.
Did I mention we're trying to double the $880 that's currently in the kitty? I don't know if I mentioned that this round. Kristen, did I mention that?
I don't think you did, at least not loud enough.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, Adam, and captain of the aid station. Take care of him, and I'm sure you'll get him through his 100. All right, next up we have Eric. He is, I believe, riding today. Or no, he's running. Sorry. So Eric is running today.
If he's riding, his bike has square tires, Kristen.
It could be a new thing, like the elliptigo, maybe. I mean, that's a thing, right? Where you're running.
It is a thing. Yep.
But I believe Eric he said that he has got his best 100 was 21 hours and 49 minutes. And he's just really looking forward to hopefully having some fall races this year. So kind of like you was talking about, doing these virtual ones to hopefully open it back up for the real ones later on. But,
well, Kristen, since it's a virtual run for him, because here's what I want to say, because this is what he'd hear on a race. Hey, it's just around the corner. It's just around. You're doing great. You look good.
You're almost there.
You're almost there, Kristen. How did I miss that?
All right. You guys have a good chat. We'll see you back in a half hour.
Okay. Bring some more giveaways. And we have Zach, who's who's moving to the other treadmill. So we've seen that has been a nice change for him. I think it gives him something else to do. I wonder what makes him change. Something in his head says it's time to change. I would like to know that, but we'll learn those kind of things later.
Right.
Okay, I think we were at a story about running is what I
Yeah,
remember. Jim.
Brady I wanted Brady to tell a story, a cool story about running in Uganda.
Oh, we're muted. Brady, you're muted.
All right, I think I'm good now, right?
Yep, you're good.
Well, I think as we all know, when we travel, sometimes it's harder to get exercise in and that kind of thing, and especially when you're in Uganda, places you don't know where to even go safely. And so we were on the trip to Uganda. This was last March. Chris Cyborg was with us as part of it because she contributed some funds for I think 2 of the wells.
Mm-hmm.
And so she keeps training all the time. And so she said she was going jogging like 6 o'clock in the morning. And we had our security guard, I'd call him, but he was, his name is B-Tech. He's like 6'4", former LRA child soldier who was able to escape from all that. And he was kind of our running security. And so we would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we did that 2 times while we were there. And the third morning, jogging, I got up and no one else was awake. So I got up in the morning and I'd gone that route, several times. And I thought to myself, do I go on this run or not without all these guys, And I opted not to. And what was cool is just being in that kind of a context. And, anytime you work out with someone who's a real athlete, like Chris Cyborg is awesome. But what happened is that the day we left, just as a good example of what you don't do in places like Africa, the day we left, an American tourist was kidnapped. And it was the day we were leaving, and it was in the same region we were in. And it was kind of a wild experience. So I think that's why Jim brought it up.
So yeah, B-Tech it's midnight in Uganda, but he may have a little surprise call in. So we need to look for that about the top of the hour, maybe about 6 minutes from now.
Brady, something tells me that you on that run, you would stand out as an American. I'm just saying. I think
there's no doubt. And if that was present in my mind, I was like, I don't look like I really just fit in exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna hold back. But
Now,
I have to say, just a qualifier, everybody else would have been there. Chris Cyborg had some chicken the day before that did not settle well. And that's why she didn't wake up. It wasn't a discipline issue. They were not doing well. Unfortunately, I skipped that meal.
Chicken soup is good for the soul.
Ooh.
sometimes.
Yes.
Well,
But, it reminds me of something else when it comes to running is that I was listening to Zach Bitter actually on Rogan when he was on in December. And within a week of that podcast, I was having some soreness in my calves when I was running. And I had remembered that he had mentioned Altras. So I went out and bought a pair of Taurin 4 plushes. And I'd never tried that shoe before. And it really, within about a week, the pain in my calf was gone. I think it changed my running posture a little bit, and really great shoes.
They're a great shoe. There's no topic that we like more as runners than shoes, and we could do the hour that's left on that shoe. But it's a 0 drop, wide toe box, and they're one of the sponsors here today. And Zach has worked for them and run on their team, and Nicole there, who's next to him, also wears Altras. They're just a great shoe, and so they're very popular on the trail and the road.
Hey, Don.
Yo.
Wait till you meet Jeremy here in a couple of another 30 minutes.
I wasn't going anywhere. I'm committed to stay here with you, Jim.
Okay. He'll be calling in later. He's got quite a story.
Okay.
Yeah, he put those shoes to the test in a different way than I'd have.
That's
right.
Yeah,
Good. I think in the business, Jim, I think that's called a tease, right?
that's it. That's right.
Yeah,
Hold on to that story.
I fell into the trap.
But Brady is I think, did you mention that you do the Joe Rogan comedies shows and
Yeah, our company does comedy specials. That's one of the things we do for Netflix. We've done both of Joe's Netflix specials, the last two, and then we just finished a couple. Chris D'Elia, it actually premiered this month, and then Tom Segura last month.
Well, Brady, I heard him mention you or your company on his podcast. He was talking about you and doing all of his Netflix stuff. So I meet you again virtually.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. It's just so fun to do those things, especially when you work with people like Joe. Just incredible. You know, you think about comedians, obviously being people that are generating laughs and all that stuff, but man, what intelligent, thoughtful people they are. I just have had such a great time doing those things.
I think you need to be that way to plug into people, for people to give you their trust in that short moment when, and I'm not a stand-up, obviously. But that's like somebody saying, I'm not a doctor. And they go, we know you're got grease in your hands. So the moment to grab somebody's attention and trust so they'll let you in to their mind, they can relax enough to laugh. That's a special gift that guys like Joe Rogan have.
No doubt about it.
So tell us about your documentary. Is it finished? Are you waiting for the story to continue and grow, or where are we at with this documentary?
Well, I feel like we're kind of at a 2/3 mark in it because, you know, Justin is, speaking of Joe Rogan, taking his advice. Justin was anxious to get out and fight again. And on the last podcast, Joe said, you know what? Don't think about that. Get yourself 100% healthy, because he was dealing with all these stomach bugs and different things. And so Justin's doing that. And in the next several months, he's going to be just really diving into getting healthy. And so we'll follow a little bit of that journey, I think. And then we're expecting he's going to train and fight again. And that will be a big element of this documentary, how he, deals with the new challenges of, just being sick, for instance.
Right.
And then how he rises above that. So
yeah, that would close the circle. You would have to absolutely wait for that, because you don't see too many documentaries that are part 1, part 2, part 3 documentaries. They kind of start and tell the story and end and then move on.
Yeah, that's right. We have to wait for it to unfold. Be patient, which is hard for filmmakers sometimes, but we
especially when you're excited to share the story.
No doubt.
It's a great story, and it can move the charity forward too. So let's get back to the charity, and I hope those donations are coming in. That's my Jerry Lewis telethon thing going on. What does Brady do directly? How do you guys work together? What magic does he bring to your magic?
We kind of the great thing about us getting together with Brady was we have our hearts are the same, and the way we want to tell a story and how we want to help people. And then it just got to be the Joe Rogan connection. And then there's a real good connection with us and Cash App, which is out of San Francisco, who advertises with Joe Rogan. So Cash App was the group that wanted to help with the documentary. And so we flew Brady up to San Francisco, had a meeting, and the rest is history. We've been shooting for, has it been 2 years?
It's been a while. And I think, one of the benefits here to this, to personally, is that it's not just telling an interesting story. It's that, right? But then, that there's this organization behind Justin and what Jim is doing, that it really does make a big difference in people's lives, for real. You don't always get that in everything you do in your life, where like it really makes a big difference. And so when we're shooting anything for the documentary, a lot of times we can use the content we're filming, and they can use it for stuff ongoing for the nonprofit without exposing the story and letting it out too soon, So it's been a really great symbiotic kind of relationship there with the doc and the organization.
Jim, oh, we got something coming up, but Jim, I have a question for you, so I'm going to write it down so we can come back. Okay, we have our update. It looks like we're at 58 miles, and we're at a 6:57 into the time. So, and we're looking. Look how consistent Zach is as we're drawing that dash line right between those two other solid lines. One being his track record at 11:19. That's a 7:01 pace. And then the 7:30 pace per mile up there on Dave Proctor. So 6:57, much faster than the 8:04 we saw last time. So we know absolutely that he had stepped off the treadmill or done something. And as we look out here, I think we revisit this 144 beats per minute is consistent and flat all day long. Pretty amazing. His fat percentages and calories coming from carbs. He just trickles those carbs in. He's using SFuel. That's one of the sponsors today. So he is dialed in, and you watch, he's really fat adapted. So he doesn't have, you don't see him eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or things that we typically see at aid stations on long runs. He's taken it all in with liquid that I've seen, and he's very efficient, not only with his gait and his time, but his nutrition as well. So really, really amazing. And you really can't tell any difference in that gait. I mean, he just looks from the side. You don't see him hunching forward or head forward or sagging his hips. He's just dialed and moving. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, my question. Are you ready for my question, Jim?
Yes.
So what if I didn't have additional resources right now to hit the QR code, but I love your message. And in fact, I know somebody or was somebody or am somebody would like to help out and reach. Is there a way to get in touch with your organization and become helpful, set up chairs, bring the smoke machine in, or whatever that you're doing?
Absolutely. If you can remember Fight for the Forgotten, it's .org. And it's our website. You can connect with us. You can email us. You can donate on that. You can start fundraisers. And your birthday, or we have a lot of people that do those things, and it really does help. We have right now donors from all 50 states, and donors from 58 different countries. So it's quite a reach. Now, a lot of those donors are $5 and $10. Like what we're doing today, we've got $903 now. So it keeps going up.
Well, nobody's grabbing anything out, right? That's, at least we see it climbing, and that's good. So Jim, I have a second question, Brady, I hope you don't mind. And you can help him with the story. If I was to ask you, what's a big takeaway for you? What's one of the stories that you enjoy telling or hearing without disclosing anybody's personal information? What keeps you going and driving your passion?
Probably it is the Africa trip or trips. I've been there 5 or 6 times, and really getting to know the hearts of the guys over there that are wanting to help their fellow neighbors. So all they need to be is trained. And we've got a guy hopefully calling in from Uganda that named B-Tech, that's the runner with Cyborg and Brady.
Ah, yeah, you've tipped us off. You've kind of trickled in, giving us suspense.
Right.
This is the tease, right?
That's right. So you get to know him and all these guys from every country. I mean, I've in Kenya or Uganda, Rwanda, Congo, all through West Africa. And you go, everybody's this, our hearts are the same. And those guys want to help people. And so we're just giving them the ability, we're empowering them to become their own well drillers and their own businesses so that they can help their country. And B-Tech has trained, he might know the amount of countries, but many different teams from many different countries around Africa. And so he's the hydrogeologist, the Rafael Lovato, the Brady of our group in well drilling.
Yeah, the Zach Bitter of world record-setting performances, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I went and read a little bit about fightfortheforgotten.org, and I read that there was a number of wells drilled in clean water and agriculture. You're teaching them basic skills and improving the quality of life. Tell me what you have seen when you look with some of the resources and doubling of this $880. Tell me about what you've seen on the change in the community, the culture, and the peace that happens with clean water.
The best part of the story that we're living right now in Uganda, there's a small group of pygmies that were displaced from their rainforest. That's where they're comfortable. They were taken out so they could have tourists go through the rainforest and put on a little piece of 1 acre land. And there were 300 people there. They died to the amount of 150. So they were going extinct when we heard about them. When BTEC called me and said, we need to help these people. So what's really cool about the rest of the story is we're buying land and we're buying farm tools. We're training the pygmies how to become farmers on their own land. And because we're putting wells in all over the community, the neighbors that used to look at them as less than, very marginalized a group of people, are seeing that because of them, everybody's benefiting by clean water, and the entire region of Bundibugyo, Uganda, is becoming more and more successful just because of BTEC and those guys going in, training, teaching, getting clean water, helping kids, and it spirals upward.
And to be taken from your land so some tourists can walk through, placed
Right.
on an acre, and the acre can't, you know how many people an acre can support? Apparently 150, because they used to have 300, and there's only enough land they can exist in good health at 150. So unfortunately, they lost half of their tribe, half of their folks or community. Call it what you wish. We call ourselves tribes as runners, so there's nothing disparaging about that. It really then you can see how that becomes someone passionate to fight for the forgotten is bigger than bullying at school. It is
Yeah.
it is this group in Africa that you're fighting for as well.
So
It's
somehow,
a big mission.
yeah, somehow we combine that by saying our hearts are for the bullied, to help the people that need the help the most. And the pygmies are what we say the most oppressed or the most bullied people group in the world, without any question.
It's sinking in, Jim. I'm a little slow,
Good.
and I'm finally getting it. And I imagine people can get more of it if they go to fightfortheforgotten.org.
Yes, they can.
Good.
Mhm.
Right. So what else are we going to talk about?
Well, we were hoping, I have a feeling that Uganda he's not getting the call in.
Well, that's okay, because we're not done with Brady. We could talk for a full hour, and he doesn't even know what's coming. And quite frankly, I don't either. So we're going to come up with something.
Okay, and also Jeremy said he's going to go ahead and join in about, well, it's pretty close to now.
Good. So, Brady, go ahead. I think we're doing.
There we go. I'm unmuted. I was muted there for a while again. I wanted to jump in on that because I think Jim was talking about bullying, and probably it's commercial break.
Oh, I think it was the 60-mile mark. You know, if,
Okay.
if Zach would have been a little bit faster, it would have segued perfectly, but he's on his pace. He's not going to break his pace. And so it was kind of awkward for us, but good for him. And it's all
Yes.
about him today. It's not about us. So Brady, I'm ready to hear about bullying.
Yeah, well, you know, it started out my whole view of what Fight for the Forgotten was doing, and I think theirs too is primarily centered on pygmies in Africa. And there were a number of things that led them into doing more work on the state side. And one of the kind of the most public examples of that is when he was dealing with a kid that got bullied last fall in Oklahoma City. A kid named Raiden, really sweet kid, terribly bullied. And they ended up bringing a whole group of actors and different people together to bring him out to LA with his whole family and just show him a lot of encouragement. They took him to Disneyland and things like that. And it's kind of an example of how, you know, the effort that they have, their core mission, really looking out for people that are bullied or you know, oppressed. It can be anywhere. And Jim, I think you know, you've obviously taken a deeper dive with Gen Y into that,
Yeah.
going into schools and that kind of thing. So it's really a multifaceted kind of a mission you guys have.
And Brady, I don't know if you heard the story earlier when Jordan Miller was on in the beginning about going to the gym and having the lights turned down and the phones flashing when they asked specific questions, and they'd all put their phones up because all the kids have them. And the gym just became illuminated with all these people that had shared in these experiences. And probably most of those had been stuffed down and not shared, but all of a sudden they were free to share. And let's talk a little bit about social media and about, oh, Kristen's back. Kristen, are you here for us? Because the next piece, if we get to talk, we're going to talk a little bit about social media as being a source of bullying. So that's a tease forward, Jim. I'm catching on to how it goes down. Go ahead, Kristen. What are you giving away, Christina?
Half hour.
It goes by fast when you're giving stuff away.
It does. I'm like, knock, knock, I'm back.
Did you find my name in there? That's what I want to know.
You know, I keep looking for it, but I didn't see one on there. So,
Okay.
I mean, did you enter? Did you enter?
Can you enter more than once?
I mean, you could have just spelled your name a little different every time, right? Different email address.
I could. What are you giving away?
Well, for this hour, we are giving away some of the SFuels product. It looks like my slide is a little delayed, technical difficulties. But those athletes will do the same. Just kind of reach out to us on social media platform and we will get that out to them. And then again, a reminder for that Nordic Track, you want to get your name in that hat for that drawing. I mean, he's at 60 miles already now. So, you know, kind of, but before we know it, he's gonna be at 90 and they're gonna be doing that prize. So get your donations in for Fight for the Forgotten, and, you know, name in for Nordic Track. And this hour we do have Javier coming in. I believe he is running. There he is. He has been with us all day today. So how are you feeling, Javier?
Well, my left shoulder is starting to hurt, but I'm moving pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
He's
But
looking efficient.
I
He's looking
know.
very good.
How far are you going today?
I'm just gonna do like another 45 minutes, and that's gonna be all I can do without being in shape, basically.
Well, you seem to be having a good time doing it. So
Yeah.
great.
I mean, this is a great time to do this kind of thing. So, hey, can I do a shout out to the Urban Running Club and the WRRC Running Club? They've been amazing,
Yeah.
and we have been privileged to run with Zach and Nicole at one point when Nicole was living over here in Texas. So yeah, so big kudos, big shout out. It's amazing. It's just incredible the way that Zach can go so fast for so long,
Right.
and can't wait to see him break the record.
Yeah, he's definitely on target. So it's going to be impressive to watch it. It's a little bit of a nail biter, right? The closer we get to see how far that line's going to swing up. So
Yeah, and also it is so warm over here. I can't believe I don't know how hot is inside of that room where Zach is running, but I'd be like just drenched, and I just got rid of my shirt just because I couldn't handle the amount of heat that this machine creates.
yeah.
And yeah, my AC is down to 60. It doesn't do anything.
Nice. Well, have a great rest of your run. Try to stay cool on that treadmill, and thanks for spending the day with us today. That's awesome. All right. See you later.
Hey, Kristen, he might have answered our question about why he's jumping back and forth on the machines. We've all been speculating, and it might be just the heat that is generated lets him cool because there's a motor and there's friction in through there on the belt. So he's just trying to manage heat.
Yeah, that does make sense. I know if I spend a lot of hours on the treadmill too, right? That heat coming up from the belt, and that's.
Well, you're faster than I am, Christina, because I don't have to worry too much about heat generation from my treadmill. But for Zach right now, certainly I think it's a good strategy. Have him shut that window in the back. That's letting in heat.
I mean, he should be doing heat training, right?
Well, we could do that. Hey, who do we have joining us here? I see somebody coming on.
No, he just went off.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is back to you guys again, and I'll be back in another half hour. Don't forget, donate to the charity.
That's right, Christina. I'm glad you said it so I didn't have to.
You got over $1,000 now.
Nice.
Oh, you see it's coming up.
Your magic is working.
Yes, and I will start dancing or whatever it takes because we're gonna hit it. We don't have how much time? I go off here at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, or at 8 hours on his race clock. So we need to pump it up.
You do, yeah. Be ready. You know, there's that new like TikTok craze of everybody doing the little TikTok videos. I bet you could generate some money with that. I mean,
I may just threaten that I'll stay on until we get there.
I mean, that might work too. You never know. All right. See you guys in a half hour.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.